Hey, I'm Andy. This is Daily Spin, a series where I am actively listening to every single record that I own. This is the end of the first week. I think I made it up to like 18 or 19 records, somewhere in there. I'm pretty pleased with that. It's been great. I'll do a weekly recap sometime over the weekend, but for now, let's just go ahead and jump into my last day of the first week. I started out really strong with something that I absolutely love. I'm incredibly familiar with this album. This is The Jester's Race by In Flames. Just a classic Swedish death metal album. This is one of the essentials if you're into like the Gothenburg style melodic death metal. The Jester's Race, The Gallery by Dark Tranquillity, and then Slaughter of the Soul by At the Gates, which I just listened to yesterday or the day before. Essential, absolutely essential to the genre. This is no different. This is out of the lot. That is my favorite one. It actually comes from this big old box set. I do have a signed version that I got. I love In Flames. They are one of the very few bands that just top my list of bands that I grew to love. They hit right at the right time when I was discovering them for whatever reason in my life. It just connected. It made sense. I had never heard anything like them. I wasn't aware of any kind of Swedish metal at all at the time. And this album right here is just incredible. It's a perfect blend of really, really nice acoustic melodic bits, a little bit of synthesizers, and tons of just heavy death metal riffs. But between the classics that I mentioned, The Gallery and Slaughter of the Soul, this is by far the most approachable. So if you're interested in this genre of music, this might be a good place to start. It's just fantastic all the way through. Some of my favorite In Flames songs are actually on this album. Moonshield is great. The Jester's Dance is great. Artifacts of the Black Rain, like the A side is just super strong all the way through. The Jester's Race on side B, another really good one. There's also a track, I think it's on one of the EPs, where it's an acoustic medley of a lot of the songs on this. And that really helps emphasize in a lot of ways just how melodic a lot of these songs are. They sound so heavy at times, but then you can do an acoustic rendition of it and it's just beautiful. And that's mainly the reason why I've always loved this type of music, because it is heavy. It's really heavy, but it's also very melodic. There's a lot of musicality to it. You can hum along to these metal songs. You know, it's not just noise. I love the cover of this too. I keep looking at it. Got the nice jester head right here. It's like an hourglass on this crazy, it's like, I don't know if it's a vehicle city or what. Wasn't there some movie with like moving cities? I will say I am actually glad, like this is their original like font logo, like classic death metal stuff. I'm glad they kind of changed it to this slightly easier to read. I don't know, I can never read the death metal fonts, so like I don't get it. They all look the same to me. So I'm glad they kind of changed that, I guess, but it's fitting for the album. Anyway, I mean, I could go on for this album, about this album for a very long time. Highly implore you to check it out. We do take kind of a turn now in my listening. I Left My Heart in San Francisco by Tony Bennett. I don't really know what to say about this one. It sounds like Tony Bennett to me. So admittedly, I've listened to plenty of like the Rat Pack, Tony Bennett, this whole type of vocal jazz in a lot of ways, but it's really hard for me to kind of differentiate between what the high albums and what the low albums are. I could probably do a little better with Sinatra. I'm familiar with a few more Sinatra albums as a whole. How this one stands out though, I'm not really sure. I enjoyed this album though. I mean, nothing really stands out as being the best song for me. I think I love the song. Smile was a great one. Once Upon a Time. Rules of the Road. Mary Young's a little, really, and a little creepy. But, I mean, overall, this is probably like a dollar bin gem. It's a Great record. I love San Francisco though, so I picked it up because I feel the sentiment of the album title. I will be interested as I continue to go through all these albums, how this ranks to some of my other Tony Bennett albums. So that'll be something where when I listen to those, whenever they come up next, I'll probably come back to this one and listen to it again just on the side, just so I can really start understanding the discography and the changes that might be happening within his music. So that's something that's always nice to kind of be aware of, is how an artist changes over time. So sticking with something of a theme, the next listen, not the last one, I have one more after this. This Lights Out San Francisco. I picked it up again because San Francisco's in the title, and I just love that city. I love the cover too. It reminded me of like some spacey synth. I mean, it's a mixing console, but it looks like it could be like a follow-up to Switched on Bach or something. Here's the inner sleeve. This is a double album. Really interesting album. So I've listened to this once when I got it. I listened to the A side. Wasn't for me. It starts out with Lights Out, and it's kind of like just a bluesy song. Wasn't really my thing. Just like blues rock. Nothing. I was thinking with San Francisco, this is probably going to be more psychedelic and more interesting. It was pretty standard, pretty repetitive. Switch over to side 2, and it's like Indian-inspired raga psychedelia music. Incredible. So then I realized this is far more of a compilation than just like one genre. There's all kinds of stuff on this album. And side 3 and 4 were even stronger with just, there was a Leonard Cohen cover. There was some bluegrass, like folk stuff. So despite the fact that side 1 might not have been my favorite overall for $4.99, lovely little album. I mean, just great. There was especially the Indian psychedelic or Indian-inspired psychedelia, really strong. That was a really nice surprise. So yeah, for a bargain bin record, I think I got my money's worth out of that one. I would definitely put side 2 on in particular, again, any old time. And to finish up the week, Ultimate Spinach. This is a late 60s, I think 68 classic. Indeed, I still have the hype sticker and the Light in the Attic sticker where I got it. 2018 reissue. This does come on, it's a nice green. Let's actually pull the whole thing out. It's actually pretty nice. Fun color, especially, Ultimate Spinach. You get the theme. This is a gatefold as well. See the full image when you unfold it. So something interesting about this record that I noticed, we'll get to the songs in a second. They have a section here called Songs, right here. And it goes through each song and tells you, like the first song, Ego Trip, is a deep exploration into each of our personal looking glasses, which are fashioned so that we appear godlike to ourselves. But when reality shatters the mirror, paranoia sets in. Each song has like a little descriptive quip like this. It's really fun. I've never really seen a band do that, I don't think. Yeah, so cool. The album itself, we've already hit quite a few 60s Psych albums this week. One of the stronger ones, one of my favorites. This is an album that is an album. There's, it's not just like a 1 or 2 good songs. This is an album worth listening to without question. It really is a classic of the genre. For $20, like this thing was a steal. Yeah, it's heavier, but I feel like the reason this one stands out among a lot of 60 Psych albums is just because the production value really is so good on this one. So really nice vocals, in tune pretty much the whole time. Really modern sounding. A lot of these 60 Psych albums can sound a little bit thin at times. They're using like old fuzz face pedals that are just kind of like buzzsaw sounding, and it's not always the most pleasant to the ear, especially in comparison to modern music. This one sounds a lot more modern, so it's a lot more approachable. If you're not into the genre, fantastic place to start. Put it on, just give it a listen. The whole album solid all the way through. So yeah, this is a highly recommended album that I absolutely would recommend checking out. I'm not even sure what song I'll put on the playlist because there's just too many good ones on this one. And that's it. That is the end of week 1. I've made it a week. 20 albums out of 1,500 or so. I think I only got 3 records in the mail today, so 15. It seems we'll be doing this for a while. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. If you checked it out in the first week, I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you next week.